Good evening and welcome to the Simply Colorful FiberCast. Today's date is November 17th, 2017. My name is Lynn and I'm your host. Welcome. I'm so glad you could join me for an hour of sewing. Grab a project and let's get started. We have a busy night ahead. First off, we're going to be working on the Disappearing, oh my gosh, not the pinwheel, Disappearing Hourglass. Oh, that could have been the start of yet another debacle. Disappearing Hourglass. This is a Missouri Star Quilt Company pattern. Jenny Doan has done it on her videos, so if you want to go watch her do it, she does a great job. And I was out at Missouri Star last week with my friends, and was it last week or the week before? Anyway, want to bring you up to date on that, and this is where I started this project. It was with a cake grouping of fabric, and then a plain one that actually is shades of the beige. But we'll get into that in a minute. Over here on this shoulder is the Disappearing Hourglass pattern. This over here are the hourglasses before I cut them up and make the disappearing patchwork, which is just, it's an amazing, ingenious trick that makes something that's so simple look quite difficult and with a lot of colors. Now, that said, I am going to decide, I think, to stop with this one and only make it be a baby quilt or a lap quilt, because I'm losing the beautiful cave fabric. So for example, isn't that wonderful? I don't like cutting it up anymore. I think that it can be just as nice and dramatic if I leave it like this. So aren't these fun? And this was, again, a deal of the day. These cave fabrics were last week. They had advertised another deal of the day, but because they were in the process of doing inventory at Missouri Star, they couldn't get the other fabric from the warehouse, so they pulled these brand new caifs from one of their stores. So we lucked out, and I do like it. It's growing on me. You know, it's not my favorite stack of caif fabrics, but it was a daily deal. How could I pass it up? So what I'm going to do today is I am going to make one more disappearing hourglass, and I'll show you how to do that with this. And then I'm going to web them together, and then we're going to talk about ironing. I admitted I have a problem. I watched Martha Stewart iron for half an hour last night. Let that sink in. I spent a half an hour of my life watching Martha Stewart iron in her basement last night. Now, I did learn a few things. I learned that the linens from her place up in Acadia used to belong to the Ford family, so she treats those very specially. I learned that there's a place in the Midwest that will wash your linens and then not even iron them, but actually block them. I learned that she doesn't use starch, but she does use sizing. I learned there's a new Rowenta iron on sale. That's what she was using. She has a couple of them. She has a beautiful ironing cabinet. Anyway, she held me captive for half an hour. I enjoyed every minute of it, but I did have to chuckle to myself today when I was thinking about that. When I was actually using my heavy starch to iron these blocks. So we'll do that. As always, send me pictures of what you're working on so I can share them with everyone else out there. Send them to lynn@simplycolorful.com and we'll go from there. So let's talk about this disappearing, I keep wanting to say pinwheel, but it's not. Okay. So what you do is after you've sewn, you can make this any size. The key is just be consistent. After you make this, you measure it, and it ends up being, and then you want to cut it into thirds both ways. So this ends up being 4 and 3, so 12 and 3/8 is about the size it ended up. So what I do is I cut 2 1/8 on each side of it. So I cut here, and then I turn this. KB, if you're out there, I love my turning this cutting pad, but it falls off when I turn it. So I'm just moving the whole thing, but I love the size of it. Thank you. We had such a nice time. If anyone is out there and you're considering a trip to Hamilton, Missouri, to attend one of the Missouri Star Quilt Company retreats, I highly recommend it. They do such a nice job. They take care of you and make it fun. Okay, so here I have cut this. And again, this is Jenny Doan's thing. I'm just copying it and doing it. So this is not an instructional video. We're just sewing together, but this is, I've cut it into thirds. And now I flip each corner out and I turn my middle block. So now I'm creating that. And you know me, I like to web my things. So I'm just going to web them down. And I noticed that my seam allowance here is different from my seam allowance that I was using in Missouri, but it'll be fine. Finished is better than perfect, right? Another common saying. And I got back from Dallas last night. Dallas is a big city. I flew into Dallas Fort Worth, into that airport on Sunday night. And stayed at a local place. And then I rented a car, and then I moved to another part of the city. There was some big convention, so there weren't many places left to stay right in the city proper. I had an event at the Irving Convention Center, but it all worked out great. It was a great event, and came home yesterday, and I've been catching up. And you may have seen, I posted on Facebook even, that I have some capacity to do some machine quilting before the holiday. So if anyone's out there and you've been thinking you wanted to possibly finish a quilt for a gift, or you were wondering, thinking it might be too late, I just wanted you to know that I have a few spots and I'd be happy to do it. My information is on the website, simplycolorful.com. And my prices are industry average, and an all over edge to edge, not too tight, is 2 cents a square inch. If you want something very tight, it's 3 cents a square inch. And I'll work with you to pick the design and the thread. I use a Statler. And like Diane Wilson wrote today on Facebook, she said, "Congratulations, you've learned a new skill." And it's true. I've learned the basics, so I can do an edge to edge. So, anywho, see, I've just webbed that together. Look at how fast that went. It looks like I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28 pieces. Imagine if you had to do that the old template way. That was a whistle. The theme of the retreat was the Wild Wild West. And oh my goodness, we had such fun giving each other gifts. my sister was so funny. She gave us each these little things. They're cowboy hats to wear. And she gave us, most of what I received as gifts is still being sent. But I wanted to show you a few of these. Look at this that she made me. A wall hanging. Isn't that really well done? The backing, she gave me some more of this fabric, so I'm going to put that in my Dear Jane. Oh, that's the other thing. My Dear Jane quilt that I started in 2012 has now made 2 trips to Hamilton, Missouri. I made 1 block when I was out there. So thank you, KB, if you're out there. I love this. She made one for Chris and for Deb, 2. Okay, so now I'm just cross webbing. I'll do this. And then I'm going to web all 12 of those together. And just make that done. It's a very hard packet of Kaffe fabric to color match. You know, I could have done maybe a light blue solid. So this used 2 layer cakes, 2 layer cakes of pre-cuts. The Kaffe was one that had 40 10 by 10 inch squares. And then I chose a cone, I believe it was a Kona, with a combination of these lighter colors. But I thought about matching it with a blue or with a black, and the Kona packet just didn't lend itself too well to one thing other than, I thought, these beiges. Okay, so there is my final square for that little quilt. And I'm going to show you how I've been ironing and enjoying it. So I have my iron, it's a dry iron. Martha was using steam last night, lots of it. And it was very funny. It was awesome. At first, and she's so poised. Man, I love her. The iron wasn't on. And she was ironing and it just wasn't getting hot enough. And then they plugged it in. Okay, so there's my square. Now what I'm going to do is hit it with a little of my starch. Ooh, I might be kind of dark. I hope you can see me over here. I'm sort of bending over so you can see me. Oh, this starch is awesome. Oh, who's out there? Okay, and there that is, all starched up. So let me put this right over here. And there are a couple of ways you can lay this out that I want to show you in a minute. I'm picking this way, I think, because it's a smaller quilt. But if it were a bigger quilt, I would reverse them. Hey, Jean, hello. How are you? We missed you so much. Okay, so, and the answer is yes, but I guess I'm not going to call attention to it right now. Okay, so here's another way you can organize these. I don't know if you can see this. You can see how it's creating a diamond. Okay, let's see what you think of that. So now I switched every other one, and now it's more like you can see rows, which if I were making it really big, I would go with. The question is, which one do you like better? So there's that. Now I'm going to go back to the other way. Let's call this B. I'll never remember this. This is B. I'm going back to A. Send me an email. Let me know if you like A or B. If I really knew this social media stuff, I could do a poll, but don't know that. Ooh, software update we want to do later. Okay. Okay, so this is B. Now I'm going to go back to A, which has all of them going in one direction. And I tried to weight the off-white fabrics so that they were evenly spread across the quilt. Okay, there we go. So that's A. And by spreading the darker colors, what I mean is, see how this is a darker tan, and this is a darker tan, and this, I spread them all over, and these are much lighter. That's medium. So I think I'm going to go with A. Let me know if you agree. And meanwhile, I see Ann is out there. Ann H, hello. Let me go to my big screen too, because Ann sends a picture. Okay. Okay, Ann says, hi, Lynn and all the FiberCasters. Hope you've had a wonderful week. She says, I've been busy making quilted tubs for a friend. She has a market stall and wants to put soft toys in them. They are fun and easy to make, and I broke out the Christmas fat quarters. Ooh, this sounds fun. Apart from that, it's a bit stressful. My grandson managed to knock a heavy concrete sculpture on himself and cut his cheek badly. And had to have it glued at the hospital, but he's fine, and the doctor seemed pretty sure it wouldn't scar. Oh, good. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Hope Bob is still continuing to get better. He is. Have a wonderful weekend, and hope you all have a wonderful time at Thanksgiving next week. Love and quilty hugs, Anne from Guernsey. Well, oh, I love these. Oh, aren't those nice? Look at you go. I love the fabric. Those bags that Anne made. Very nice. You can celebrate too, or at least eat the turkey. It's delicious. Oh, those are wonderful. And I love your toolbox too. Those are great. Oh, thanks for sending that. Okay, Elaine. Hello. She says the B layout. Okay, so you don't like A. And she says, did you see the spool block secondary pattern? Okay, we're going to have to go look at it right now. So this is A. They're all going the same way. And now change that. Change this. Change this. And this. Oh, I did not see the spool block until you just pointed it out. Do you mean, oh, this? And this? And this? Huh! I did not see that. Very cool. Oh, and I see it going the other way too in some places. Okay. Thanks for writing and thanks for weighing in. I'm psyched you're out there. Maggie in New Hampshire. She says, nice to see you. Your blocks are beautiful. I like A for the lap quilt. Your darks and lights add dimension. Happy stitching, Maggie in New Hampshire. Thank you, Maggie. Oh, and Eileen says, am I saying your name right? L-Line says, the A layout, the spool block is there too, just not as obvious. Okay. Well, I'm going to have to go back to that. Now, of course, I'm already getting myself mixed up. Oh, my goodness. All right. Let's look for the spools. There we go. Oh, there are the spools again, right? Okay. Oh, now I can't decide. Oh, those are some cool spools too. Cool spools. Say that 3 times fast. Linda. Hello, Linda. She says, glad to be able to sit and sew with you tonight. I agree with choice A. I think B is great, but not with those yummy K fabrics. Yes. Good. I'm glad to hear you say that. Me too. She says, under my needle tonight is a UFO from around 2002. She says, I'm adding the final border so I can pin it and get some sweet 16 quilting done. Oh, that's great. And she says, hi to all FiberCasters. Have a great weekend, everyone. Linda G. in My Quilt Haven. Oh, and look at your old machine, your vintage machine. That looks great. Oh, I love those colors. That looks very current to me, or Christmassy, or I like it. And thanks for the input. Carol, also across the pond, hi. She says, hi, Lynn and FiberCasters. Hope you have all had a good couple of weeks and glad and a bit envious to hear that you had a great time at MSQC last week. You'll have to come. This last week, I've just finished a quilt that has been waiting a while to be finished. When I finished the middle and put the first border on the fabric, I got the final border and it did not look right. I put it down for a while. You're so good about doing that. During the summer, I did the pieced borders, but came to a stop at the corners. But when I got it out to have a look at last week, I had an idea and it worked. And so now I have another finished top. Yay! Let's look at this. Oh my goodness. Are you kidding me? Look at that. Oh, and I love look at all of the red scrappy squares and then the combination of the black with it. And then, oh, that is a great border. Oh, let's see if we can see it here. So there it is up close. That works so well. Wow. Very nice. Carol goes on to say, are you doing the Bonnie Hunter mystery quilt this year? Oh, I wish. I love her mystery quilts. I'm not going to this year. I've got lots going on here, but I hope you enjoy that. You should enjoy that. It's why I purposely don't do mystery quilts this time of year, because I know everyone is doing hers. It's so good. She says, so Carol says, I have my fabric ready, although not being the best at following instructions. My colors do look a bit different from the ones Bonnie is using. That's funny. I like the look of layout A for the smaller size quilt, but if making the quilt a full bed size, I would use the B layout. That's what I think too. Thank you. Thanks for that input. And thank you for sending these pictures. Thank you. Okay, let's web these babies together. So these I'm going to put aside, and I'm going to leave it right on the wall. Let's see if we can do this. Oh, you're going to see how scrappy my piecing is. You would think if I started out with 2 cake packets that things would be more even than they are. Okay, I'm leaving that there. I'm going to this. Oh, so I hope, I love how people are getting things done. I hope you're having nice times before the holidays. Whatever form your holiday takes, right? Holidays are never the same each year, for good or bad. And I know the holidays are hard for some. Change is inevitable, isn't it? I remember at Spalding a few months ago when I was there with Bob, we took a lot of walks outside, and it's right on the Boston Harbor, and they have beautiful landscaping and hardscapes. And there is a wall there amongst the garden, and it has the Darwin quote that it's those who are able to adapt to change are those that will survive. And that sure is true of lots of different species, including our own. It's not always the easiest thing. I'm not even pinning this, so it's a good thing I have starch. So I can get it good and flat. It's so funny when you're out there in Hamilton, for me anyway. You have access to 9 stores, I think, is what they're up to. And it's like something takes over your body. For me anyway. And this happened to me a couple of years ago when I went. They have all these different colors and things you can pick. And I came home with the most garish, I don't know if you remember this, quilt with bright colors and chocolate brown matching it. Remember I did the spools of thread. I ended up quilting on it. I'll show you next week. I forgot to pull it out. And I did the same thing here. I brought these, I'm gonna like it, but I don't love the colors. But when I was there, I thought this was the cat's meow. And I get so overwhelmed by all the things in the stores. And I just find it funny. But now's a good time to show you another quilt. So I did make 3 jelly roll race quilts. I can't show you 2 of them because they're Christmas presents, but I can show you one. And this is made with a Kona jelly roll and gray dividers. Do you like it? I like it. It's so easy. Doesn't it look modern? It measures, oh boy, 55 by 62. And, you know, I think I really like it. So I'm not sure, I was pausing there. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for a border, if anything. Hello, who's there? Who's out there? KB. Hi, KB. Ooh. Oh, KB says, phew, what a week. Oh, she says, so happy to be back at the machine. Putting the border on my Christmas quilt tonight. Yay. Excellent. Oh, I bet. Are you still going live with that new application soon? I'm glad you got home okay. Oh, Jean says, I also like B, love the spools, sharp eye. That one should go in the show. Love it. Aw, okay. You got it, boss. Okay, let's keep going here. But I tell you, the workmanship on this jean is not show worthy. It's really bad. And it's going to be compounded by the fact that the machine, I was using a baby lock out there, and the seam allowance wasn't a 1/4 inch. So now I'm trying to, oh boy, to compensate here. It's a mess. Oh, nice. I have to tear this out. So the back, see how I even missed that seam? That is so awful. Oh, really? Some days we should just step away from the machine. Jean says, oh, she said I meant the jelly roll. You got it. Don't you like that one? I like that one too. She says that one goes in the show. I agree. But this one is also lovely, she says. If you don't point out your mistakes, we will never see them. Aw, okay. Good point. Oh, and I'm glad you like the jelly roll one. I can't wait to show you the other two I made. And we had such good fun, and you should see what Karen and Chris and Deb made. Okay, so enough about that. What do we want to talk about? Oh, okay, we talked about ironing. Have we talked about Thanksgiving? Who's cooking? We finally are down to 1 refrigerator. I don't know if I told you that we had 2 for a long time. And Bob bought a used one from someone in New York. Before his accident, he went out to New York and picked up this refrigerator and brought it back. And then we couldn't get it to work. And so while Bob was in the hospital, I called a repair person and had them come look at it, who told me the repair would cost too much, wasn't worth fixing. So I let it stay there. Now, so we've been living with 2 refrigerators in the kitchen. So fortunately, I had a refrigerator, the old one, that I bought in 1993. Yes, it was an energy hog. And it was dirty. Fashion that. So there, the 2 refrigerators sat some more when the service person couldn't fix that. And Bob came home and made contact with the person he bought it from out in New York, who kept avoiding me. I tried to contact him, and I thought for sure he was a goner. But Bob got him to come all the way back out and fixed it. And so far, it's running. So that's good. That's ready for Thanksgiving. And I'm going to clean this weekend. And then go shopping and make sure we have all the ingredients. Mom and I are on pie duty again. All right, there we go. So this, do you guys web your quilts? I love this method. My sister made the most amazing quilt. In fact, KB, can I show people your quilt? Or are we going to wait until it's done and then you'll send a picture of it? I won't steal your thunder. It's amazing. I think a lot of people are making the Bonnie Hunter quilt, by the way. So that will be fun for everyone. Two more. What else is going on? One more. Okay. It's been cold back here. It was kind of rainy in Dallas, but it was in the 60s. And they even said it was a little warm for Dallas. I thought it was pleasant. But I came back here and it's been freezing. And I bought us a new heating pad for our mattress. I love those things. Instead of having the heating blanket, you put the pad underneath your sheet. Oh, it just is so heavenly. And my side wasn't working last night, so I may have to get another one, return it. Okay. So here is the quilt webbed one way. Now I'm going to turn it. And I'm going to sew it the other way without even ironing it. I am going to pin it in a few places. But before I do that, let's see who else is out there. I want to make sure I say hi. Oh, Allie. Allie down under from Australia. She says, hi from Australia. Hi, Lynn and FiberCasters. I can't wait to try this Disappearing Hourglass block. Jenny is so clever, isn't she? She says, I'm attaching a photo of a lap quilt wall hanging I made this week following one of Jenny's tutorials. The only time I iron is when I'm sewing, LOL. I know, right? Don't think I could watch a video of ironing. Oh, it was so funny. And she caught me too. She had her chows, her dogs, and I've been obsessing over, not obsessing, but I've been thinking about dogs again and looking at them. And she showed a picture of the grandfather and the puppy chow. They're just beautiful. They're like an orangey color. And so that sucked me in. And I thought, well, surely she's going to show us the dogs again, which she didn't really. Anyway, I like the bee quilt, but you're right. It would depend on the fabric. I would hate to lose the design of some fabrics. Right. Today I'm finishing a quilting on a baby quilt for my niece, Madison. See the photo. Ooh, I can't wait to show people. I'm also packing for our next trip in 12 days, not in the van, but on the water this time. Oh, are you doing a cruise? 14-day New Zealand cruise. It will be great to get away after being home the past few months. Only sewing. The only sewing Allie is taking with her will be Hexie's. Oh, look at your quilt. I love that. You did that all this week? You are amazing. Can people see that? I love that picture, by the way. Maybe because I'm in it, huh? Do you ever think about showing a picture of a picture of a picture? I often wonder when it's going to end. That is cool. I like that a lot. And that is a lot of work, all those pieces. Wonderful. Well, have a great trip. Let's see. Done. Okay. Oh, and Allie says, hi again. I really like C, the school block. Oh, I don't even know that one. Okay, I'll look it up. Sandra in Mississippi, she says, yay. Hi, Sandra. She says, I'm working on the third hat for my Operation Christmas Child boxes. Hope to finish this weekend. So glad you had a great retreat and trip to Dallas. I like both A and B, she said. I saw the spools in both. A may be my favorite. Have a great Thanksgiving, everyone, from Sandra in Cool, Mississippi. And she sends this wonderful hat and picture. Looks so idyllic with your cup of tea and your bag. Thanks for sharing, Sandra. Have a wonderful weekend. And Eileen writes for the layout. She says both are good. Elaine was the one who saw the spools. She said both are good. I just saw the spools first in B plus a tiny dark square and a square as another alternate block. Through YouTube, I mostly only see light, medium, and dark solids, not prints. Okay. Look at it through a door peephole and you can remove all the distractions of print and see balance of the light, dark, or imbalance and move things as needed. That's a great tip. So it's like looking through it with your little watch glass, right? If you look through a peephole, that's a great tip. Thank you. Thank you so much for helping me. Okay, so I'm going to pin this a few places. It does feel nice to be back home. Whew. Oh, and I can't believe I didn't do this at the top of the hour. I wanted to say hi to the sisters, Robin and Rhonda, who I met at the retreat. Your t-shirts are on their way. And it was such a pleasure to meet you. Robin and Rhonda do amazing quilts, and they're sisters from Indiana and Colorado, and they met up at Missouri Star. So that was really fun. And then I also want to say hi to the ladies in Texas. A whole group of nurses from Texas came, and they exchanged gifts. They've been there before with Chris and Deb, and I'm wearing my watch that Rosemary gave me. that has like Seminole piecing, like you from Florida. And all of my other gifts are still in boxes on being shipped back. That's another thing that they do, which is so smart. They give you a box at the end of the retreat so you can ship home all the fabric you bought. Only in America. Well, actually, that's not true. Around the world, we're all alike, aren't we? It is a neat model, though, with 9 stores right outside, and it's like a hotel. It's an old center of town building that they've made into this retreat center. You sleep on the second floor. You create on the first. You create and eat on the first floor. Oh, and the food was good this year. I characterize it as a little more healthy than last year. I need to pull my. Here we go. So here's one down. One. Now we'll do the next one. Okay. We really are so lucky to have a hobby that we enjoy. I think I've said it before, but I'll say it again. It would be such a long life if we didn't have things that we found joy in. And given it's Thanksgiving week, I feel good saying it again that we are so lucky, and I am thankful, and I hope you are too. I hope you can find things to be thankful for. And I think FiberCasters are a optimistic bunch. I really do. I see it in your emails to me and your kind words and thoughts and hearing about trials and tribulations, grandsons hitting their cheeks, and that had to be very scary. But we come through it, and it's an amazing world we're living in too. Amazing times. give you an example. Earlier today, I wanted to talk to my cousin CJ. Nothing urgent. I just hadn't talked to him since before Bob had fallen. And I just wanted to let him know that Bob was doing great and thank him for being there when I called him at whatever time it was. And so so it felt good to leave him a message. He didn't pick up his phone, but honestly, he texted me. This is an example of what a wonderful world we're living in. He was on a boat. He was on a ferry boat with bad cell reception, but he was able to call in and retrieve his phone messages. And then he texted me back saying he got the message and wishing me a happy Thanksgiving. It's amazing. It must be like what it was like when the first telephones arrived. I don't know. It's just amazing. Almost done. I have no idea. I'm thinking maybe we're coming up on the hour. Oh, no. My timing intuition is off. Jean, I need Chris here. Can't Chris? Jean's husband, Chris, can predict the time within minutes, no matter what or where. Okay, there is the third row. One. Ooh, and I'm seeing the spools. 2, 3. Now one more. I'm thinking for a border, because this is just a little too small, and I can't see this being a baby quilt. It just isn't pretty enough. So I think I will have to go to the fabric store and look for some sort of an off-white print, a small one, maybe a modern one or a low volume one, and use that for the border and around for the backing. That's what I'm thinking. And I must admit, this one doesn't have a home yet. I don't know what to do with it. I love what our Quilt Guild is doing. We have an awesome programs committee. And for our Christmas party, for a holiday party, which we're having December 5th, we're doing 2 really fun things. One is like a Yankee Swap? Everyone's supposed to, who wants to play, is supposed to find a festive pair of Christmas socks, fill one sock up with little sewing tchotchkes, either things you made or little notions you might have bought. Put the other sock in that sock and give it away. So if you want to play, you'll walk away with a nice pair of socks and some fun little tchotchkes. So that'll be fun. Mainly, it'll be fun to shop for it. Who am I kidding? And then the other thing is, if we have anything, if I understood this right, if we have things, say, in our stash or in our closet that seemed like a good idea at the time, but we're just not using and we're ready to give it away, we're supposed to bring that to the potluck. And then there will be an auction, maybe, of folks. I think it was an auction that night, and then the proceeds will be given, the guild will give the proceeds to a shelter that Becky has identified, which I love that too, right? We get to unclutter a bit. We get to give something to someone. It's all good. Just moving stuff around, basically. I was very disappointed, even though it was a very successful business trip to Dallas. I missed Lima's demonstration of how she makes her cards, and I heard it was great. Okay. So, guess what we're ready to do? We're ready to iron. Let me stand back. Ooh, I like it. Do you like it? All right, so I didn't really heat up my iron. Oh, you know what? Before I iron, I'm going to put these up just for fun. You can see more of them. That's a bright blue one. Oops. What's going on there? Let's see, how many more do I have? Just 2. So I guess I'm going to have to rejigger it a little. But that's fun to see, huh? Yay! All right. I spun the seams on all of these little ones, but I'm not going to do that on this. There are too many going different ways. So I'll just set it. And I'll have to come back and clip some of them. Oh, that's right. I didn't iron it the other way either, did I? Oh, and you know what? I thought a lot about Nancy Zeman this week. I think we talked about her a few weeks ago. She was really a pioneer up in Wisconsin. My sister said it best. She was doing it before we knew what it was. And that it was entertaining us and inspiring us with her passion for sewing and sharing it with us on TV. It's really amazing to see the outpouring. I never met her, but people who did seem to say that she was very nice. Who's out there? Hey! Oh! Jean is sending us a private message about a windfall of fabric. Oh my. I best keep that to myself for charity quilts. I'm kidding. I didn't keep it to myself. And probably on that note, I should finish ironing and bid you all adieu. Let me just finish this up. I won't starch it. Maybe I'll save that excitement for tomorrow. I can only have so much ironing excitement in one day, you know. Okay. Well, here we go. Thank you all for joining me tonight on FiberCast and helping me make this quilt. It's a fun one. It looks much more difficult than it is. Have a great Thanksgiving. Be thankful for everything you have, and spend time with family and friends. Do something you love, and I'll see you next Friday night right here on FiberCast. Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining me.